Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. Another week, another Niners victory, but it had to be against my Seattle Seahawks, so this is a tough game for me to be a part of. The Seattle Seahawks fought. Obviously, Geno Smith went down earlier in the week with the groin injury, so Drew Lock had to finally get his shot. Drew Lock got his shot. And he took, I would say he played pretty well. You know, he had touchdown to DK early on. He had the 2 turnovers, but he had to take risks down the field. He had a real good rapport with Tyler, got the tight ends involved. They actually got the Niners with the same play the Niners got Seattle on in Seattle last season. It's kind of cool. It's a very copycat league that we're in, clearly. Copycat league, but it was not enough to get by the San Francisco 49ers, who are now have the number 1 seed in the playoff seeding right now above the Dallas Cowboys, who just beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll get to that game in a second because obviously I'm going to hear about it all week dealing with Skip Bayless. But Seattle played good. They ran the ball well. Tyler played good, but their defense actually held in there as well as could be expected. The 49ers got a little banged up throughout the game. Charvarius Ward went down. Javon Hargrave went down. Dre Greenlaw went down with what looked like maybe an MCL strain or something. Oren Burks went down. But Kyle Shanahan seems to think they're going to be okay. But this Niners team, you know, that's 5 straight against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks got to find some answers. They attacked the weaknesses of that defense. They found things that people continue to find. I'm not going to mention any names, but Seattle Seahawks fans know what's going on, and they know it's pretty evident on film. And I'm sure that the staff has to see that. You have to put guys in positions to be successful. They lost Witherspoon to a back injury earlier in the game. He's a huge part of what that defense does, but they were still playing really good. They were getting stops. They were stopping the Niners for a good majority of the game. Deebo Samuels, Tyshawn, Raekwon Samuel had a fantastic game. He has 5 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks, you know, because he started off the season really quiet, and now he's getting really loud. He's running the ball well. He broke the record for receivers having rushing touchdowns in the National Football League. He has the most rushing touchdowns by a receiver in the National Football League's history. That's incredible. There's been a lot of great receivers that take end arounds. I mean, Percy Harvin being one of them. But that's fantastic for a player who is still in his prime. I mean, just really entering his prime. Another great game by Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, the fumble is the play that I'm sure he wishes he could have back. But outside of that, played a fantastic game. Something magical happens when the third quarter ends and the fourth quarter begins. The energy changes. The fourth quarter is where games are won, where champions are made. And in business, it's where sales teams become legends. That's why HubSpot built Sales Hub to give sales reps the deal-making tools they need to win in Q4 and close the year strong. Sales Hub's prospecting workspace organizes your schedule, goals, and to-do list in one place to save your team precious fourth quarter time. Smart sequences help sales reps close deals faster than ever. With an easy-to-use management tool, reps can find, track, and close deals all in one place. Plus, AI forecasting helps you accurately predict future success, which means less hoping for deals and more crushing targets. Put your sales team on the fast track to winning Q4 with Sales Hub. Learn more at HubSpot.com/sales. But the guy I want to talk about, Purdy is doing great. I mean, there's what else can I say about him? He should be the MVP of this league. And I know there's arguments for other guys. I know there's debates. But the things I want to put on for you, I want people to understand, because the arguments against him are getting weaker and weaker every day. The arguments against him are he has a talented play caller. Well, I remember Bill Walsh being a talented play caller. He has talent all around him. I remember Joe Montana and Steve Young having the greatest receiver of all time, while also having Roger Craig, John Taylor. I mean, they had guys that could get the job done. I mean, Hall of Famers. But when he has a good play caller and he has guys that are getting the job done, then it means he's not a good player. I don't really get that. What he is the most efficient quarterback in the game right now. Most efficient. He's had 7 consecutive games with 70% completion percentage. Only been done by a couple people. I think it was Drew. Drew Brees did it. I got to get the whole list, but he's having a season that if he was Zach Wilson and he was drafted with the number 2 pick overall and had all these expectations, we'd be talking about him as, of course, he's the MVP and he's going to take over the league and he's going to be this guy for the next 10, 15 years. And we're talking about him potentially being an all-pro this year, the MVP, in the face of the league going forward. But instead, because he's Mr. Irrelevant, you guys don't want to give him credit. Give him credit. He's second in the league in yards right now. He's up there in touchdowns. He's leading one of the best offenses. You should listen to how his players talk about him. The defenses that he shreds every week. I mean, the interception he had this week was really just a miscommunication between him and the receiver, went off the receiver's hands into the defender's hands. Okay, it happens like that sometimes. But 25 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. I mean, 3,500 yards already. I mean, 3,500 yards already. There's still 4 games left. There's still 4 games left in the season. He has 3,500 yards. So if he gets another 1,500 yards in 4 games, which, I mean, that's a little stretch. It's a little reachy, but, I mean, it could happen. And they go 300 a game. That's 1,200. He'd have to have 400-yard games. So unlikely, but still, for a guy that was Mr. Irrelevant, now has a 15-3 record in the games that he started and finished. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Dak Prescott is having an unbelievable season. No question about it. There's no question about it. But they've gone head-to-head. They've gone head-to-head, and Brock Purdy's team won by 32 points. So you got to take that into account. But that's my 2 cents.